Hey, everybody. Welcome to another fantastic episode of the Jamal and Joe Show. I'm Jamal, and that's Joe. And we are here to tell the truth. We're here to have a little fun, and we're here to hopefully be entertaining. Mr. Joe, how are you this evening?
Super. Thank you. Yourself?
I'm doing well. How was your week?
Similar to many of the previous ones. Nothing too well. There's lots of news, but no personal achievements of any notoriety. Yourself?
Nothing terribly new in this household. We got a new president. We've had
For all the households, by the way.
Yes.
He's everybody's president.
Yes, he's our president. So we inaugurated a new president on the 20th.
Pretty exciting stuff.
That was pretty exciting. It was kind of cool.
And can we all say that it was, thankfully, anticlimactic?
Yeah. I think the most exciting thing that happened was the cameras caught George Bush kissing Michelle Obama on the cheek with his hand wrapped around her waist.
Yeah, no, I can handle that level of heat. Considering what it seemed like they put a lot of camera work into. They had to have the same operators as sports teams do when they don't have a crowd. And I'm talking pre-Rona right now. When I would watch the sport balls, where teams that were not well supported.
Yes.
It was amazing how the camera crews did a real good job of
not showing the empty crowd.
Yeah. And occasionally they'd slip up and you'd be like,
right.
It's just, you'd see 16 people in Dolphin Stadium and you're like, oh, that is an empty joint. And you realize people are just at the beach, I guess. I would be too. But yeah. So no, but that there was nothing going on other than that. I think the whole idea was that at least they weren't showing too much.
Right.
The 20,000 troops that were all over the place.
No, I was going to say when they did the helicopter shot, you could see all the dudes with the big M16s or whatever the heck they were carrying, on the periphery. And then occasionally when they would pan up, you'd see homeboy laying down on the roof, with the big sniper rifle. But that was just every now and then.
And there was just none of that, on the 6th, right?
Right.
There was none of it. Now granted, the 6th normally wouldn't have been any kind of mark. But even then, it was a light presence. And that, again, is a lot of the news that came out this week of just the continued discovery of connections between.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So you sent me something earlier and you were like, do you think this is still incompetence? Because full disclosure, I might be living in a little bit of a Pollyanna world, but I was like, it might have been a lot of coincidences here. But the more things that come out, they talk about 9/11 was an inside job. I think this was truly an inside job.
This one seems to have a lot more tangible, concrete evidence of.
Well, when you've got text messages.
So I'm saying, we didn't have. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to go into 9/11. I'm just saying that, or JFK or anything else. I could, because I'm delighted to talk about. Especially, I was watching some JFK stuff, so that was just renewed my interest again. But nevertheless, say, people are texting themselves while this is happening, or
right.
they're taking video, live streaming themselves doing this shit.
Yes.
And so there's just, I don't know, how do you?
Well,
they're trying to hide it.
The thing that people forget, and these are theoretically smart people, is that anytime you pick up your phone, if you're in a government building and you send out a sweet little text message, that's going to ping off a government server and that's going to be captured. And these are people who theoretically thought that they were like planning some big coup, and they were giving all of their information to the people who are now going to be using that information to prosecute them.
So what does that tell you? Because it tells me that they're either, really, really, really dumb, or they really thought they were going to succeed.
But what was success going to look like? Like, I'm still wrapping my mind around what was
the messages. Did you want to kind of elaborate on that message that I sent you earlier? Did that if that somehow swayed any of your opinion on all this?
Yeah, let me go ahead and read that for the folks out there.
I mean, if that was a moving point for you.
Yes. Oh, and before we go any further, I just want to take 2 seconds and stop and say thank you to all of our new viewers. We added a lot of
too.
What's that? Yeah, and our old ones too. Yes, our old ones too.
Don't want to leave anybody out.
We love our original 40 or 50 viewers. We love them, subscribers. Thank you guys.
4 or 5. I mean, me and myself and.
Yeah. We've added quite a few subscribers in the last 2 weeks, and I want to thank everybody who's a subscriber of the Jamal and Joe Show. Joe and I would be having these conversations without the cameras. We would just be talking on the phone, talking about this stuff, and we're happy to.
I was going to say, I mean, that was kind of the funny thing is that we weren't. I mean, we hadn't chatted for quite some time, frankly.
But I'm saying we would.
We might, but we never did, and we never chatted. And that's where I just wanted to express, I mean, how much I enjoy this medium where, like you say, I mean, regardless of how many folks are tuning in, and I thank you all for doing so. It's awesome. I mean, just pretending to have a good, I mean, this is the kind of silly shit I would have done as a kid. Like, oh, we have a show, and I mean, honestly, I mean, this is that. And that we, we had such little chance to chat over a long period of time. And now we get to all the time is fun and great. And that anybody else enjoys it at all, then that's great too.
Yeah, I know that's kind of cool that we just have like a whole bunch of eavesdroppers into our conversation.
And right now, like all we're doing honestly is we're trying to I mean, I don't know about you, but all I'm trying to do is just even comprehend the times that we're living in. I mean,
right.
We're not even to the funny anecdotes part of our show that we could ever get to. As far as like, oh, remember the time kind of stuff or whatever, because it's always like, holy crap, what amazing historic event happened this week, or which 6 of them did.
Well, that's the thing. If you think about, we started this show in August, and we haven't had a week where we're like, holy crap, can you believe that happened in a span of 7 days? We haven't had 7 days where something hasn't happened since we started this show.
That's what I'm saying. And so as much as I don't, because I was thinking about, I was like, how would you even try to categorize what, if we're trying to say, oh, we're a sports show, or we're a music entertainment show, or we're a political show. And I'm like, okay, well, we're probably definitely seeming like that latter one, but I'm not necessarily wanting to just be that, because there's so much more to talk about.
Absolutely.
There's so much more to talk about. However, these are, I truly believe, like historic times. I mean,
there's so much stuff going on that you can't not. We would be disingenuous if we didn't talk about what's going on right now.
That's what I'm saying. Like to me, that's that's all I'm saying. It would feel weird not to, and I get we can try to break off some time and like have different segments, even because I do like doing that.
I do have a good,
because I mean it forces us to go, okay, because I mean I'm just saying, like I could talk all day and night just to myself trying to figure out this world around me right now that I am having a hard time understanding. And usually up till recently I felt like I had a pretty solid grasp of the world around me.
Yeah. Well, I do have a good buy or sell for you tonight. So
I can't wait. Maybe we do an early buy or sell.
We could do an early buy or sell.
First hour buy or sell. So
But before we get too far into that, I want to read this. But I want to finish my train of thought, and I want to say, all the viewers, all the subscribers, thank you guys. Do me a favor, tell a friend, share a video. Have some. If you like it and you subscribe to it, tell a friend. Have them subscribe to it also. We want as many people as possible, or as few people as possible, to watch our show. Anyways, all right. So
I'm going to go as many people as possible. And also, I heard you say subscribe a couple times in there, and I don't think that was by accident. And so, feel free to as they say, mash the button. Mash the button. Turn on notifications. So here's the thing. What's up? We have a great support staff behind the scenes that cuts everything up for us, puts it out there. Right there. Way more hard work than just blowing out hot air on the old tubes. So throughout the week, there may be a couple of clips that come out. If there's anything that we said that kind of stands out, there might be a clip that comes out. So if you turn on the notification, you'll get notified when that clip comes out, and you can watch it. You can share it with your friends, and just in case you can't make it through all 2 glorious hours of this. Exactly. And it's a lot. I mean, that's like staring right at the sun for a long time. It is. Yeah. It's hard to do. Well, that's the cool thing about our executive producer. She breaks things up into little 10, 15-minute clips. People can watch those, and when you get time, you can go back and watch the whole show. All right. Enough self-promotion. I want to read this. I know. I mean, but it's real. So, real quick, speaking of poor folks' self-promotion, did you hear the good Alex Jones? Oh, God. You're familiar, right? Yes. So Alex Jones, just in case folks aren't familiar, is like he's an entertainer. That's the label he gets to hide behind, similar to Fox News Entertainment Corp. Right. Is it when shit goes bad? We're just joking. Mm-hmm. We're just joking. All that. We're just talking in theory. All that crazy shit we're talking about. We're just joking. Unless you're on board, then wink, wink, nudge. Meet us around back. Exactly. So anyway, apparently a federal judge in Texas, maybe a Supreme Court judge. The Texas Supreme Court rejects Alex Jones's request to throw out defamation lawsuits. So people are going to sue the holy smokes out of him, because he just in case folk, like one of his biggest claims of fame is saying that the Sandy Hook tragedy was fake, right? Yeah, that's a. I mean, again, if you're just joking, bold joke. Yeah, bold joke. Yeah. So when people are burying dead babies, and that's and don't get me wrong. And here's the thing. If you want to make jokes, like honestly, and you want to roll and you want to use that as your punchline, good luck. Mm-hmm. And if you want to stand up there as an obvious comedian, rolling that out there, your shtick. But this is again where I'm gonna start talking about what exactly is free speech, because when you're a fellow who puts himself in a very news-like studio, our Alex Jones guy here, I've seen his bad rap. He sits behind a desk with a mic with a bad green screen behind him. Look, not like I'm in my basement, looking like he's like a news desk. Yes. Giving you, so again, he's giving off all the vibes that he's giving out legitimate news. That's what I'm saying. Same thing with Fox News Entertainment Corp. That it's the same shtick, that we're going to look like the news. We're going to talk to you like the news. We're going to tell you a bunch of crazy shit, and then take no liability or responsibility whatsoever, because, we're just entertainment. Right. We're just joking. Except they don't sound like they're joking all the time. Right. Whereas a comedian, good or bad, if they're ballsy enough to make a joke about whatever, first of all, you're in a comedy club, so you know that they're a comedian and that they're joking. and you may not like the joke, and you may think it's in poor taste, and it probably is, but that's comedy, and that's different.
Yes.
And so how, and again, I'm not a lawyer, but how is it that I can parse it out even to this degree, and nobody else can take it further that's actually got a law degree and can hammer this shit out and go, okay, here's what's legit, here's what's not, here's what's inciting a riot,
Yeah.
Here's what's all akin to shouting fire in the
So, okay. So you've been talking about QAnon for a couple of weeks, and for whatever reason, I've either on purpose or on accident have kind of avoided the whole QAnon thing.
What part was I talking about of QAnon?
You were mentioning it the last couple of weeks, and honestly, I didn't know a whole lot about it. So I've gone and done some research, and those are some crazy fools in that QAnon thing.
Yeah, I'm not real familiar other than that they're just a bunch of kooks. And
all right. So
and by the way, I'm not keen on espousing their shit either, because
I wasn't going to go
crazy. I honestly don't.
I wasn't going to go too deep into it, but some of the conspiracy theories that they believe,
it's ridiculous, and that's what I'm saying. I don't even want to give light to their nonsense but I mean, I'm sorry if you do go for it.
No. But I'm just saying the thing they thought was going to happen on Inauguration Day was that these federal people, whomever, these secret police were going to rush the stage and arrest everybody. And then Donald Trump was going to come riding up in some truck and institute martial law and take over the government. And I'm like, in what movie does that even happen? Like, what bad B movie on Cinemax at 3 o'clock in the morning?
What movie even stacks up to our reality anymore? Come on, man. I mean, I'm sorry. Dude, I mean, even Idiocracy was supposed to be the bar that was like, come on, that's just comedy at this point. And we've gone beyond that. I mean, we've gone far beyond that. So,
right. So let me read this. This, folks, is from the Washington Post.
I'm just saying, if that was what these people believe, and first of all, I mean, like, they got 0 people showing up on their big day, and I want you to get to your post thing in a second. I'm just saying, one, they shot their wad on the city.
They did.
That was their whole thing. And whatever bullshit this Q thing is, it was BS, and that's as much as weight as I'm willing to give to any of it. Is it was BS that was stirred up to find out. I mean, as a way of like, let's see what moths come to the crazy flame,
right?
And when you've got folks like that coming to that kind of crazy flame, you've got people that are willing to do kind of whatever you tell them to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not real free thinking folks at this point. I mean, they are very,
which is scary.
Of course it is. Free speech. And so they, like I said, they shot their one on the 6th. That was their opportunity. And since that failed, and the big, humongous, I mean, honestly, like anything was going to attack. I mean, dude, no country on earth could have attacked the Capitol.
I know.
Let alone a bunch of kooks. That's why the 6th was that opportunity, because it was so orchestrated to have a hole in that big of a defense that would never have a hole like that ever.
Right.
But for one moment it did, and it was all coordinated.
Yes. So speaking of coordination, let me read this from the Washington Post.
All
right. It says in charging papers, the FBI said that during the Capitol riot, Caldwell, who's one of the people, received a Facebook message from unspecified senders updating him of the location of the lawmakers. When he posted a one-word message, quote unquote, inside, he received extortions and directions describing tunnels, doors, and hallways, the FBI said. Some messages, according to the FBI, included, all legislators are down in tunnels 3 floors down, in quotes. and quote unquote, go through the back house chamber doors facing north, left down hallway, down steps. Another message read, all members are in tunnels under Capitol, seize them in, turn on the gas, the FBI added. That's coming from the Washington Post.
And again, this back and forth, according to the FBI, is between an unknown Facebook messenger and somebody, this Campbell person,
Caldwell,
who this Caldwell person was in the riots, in the insurgency, insurrection, and he was receiving texts from an unknown Facebook. You know, they know who the hell this is.
They know.
Unknown to us.
Right.
I'm just breaking it down for the dense people like myself because I like pictures.
Yeah.
I don't know how you are. I learn with pictures, books, people talking, pictures, baby.
Yeah.
So anyway, Mr. Caldwell was inside the Capitol, or was a rioter going up to the Capitol?
Correct. No, at this point he was inside.
Right. Well, but I was getting right. But specifically, he was on the outside, and when he got in, he texted somebody inside.
Yes.
And then started receiving a bunch of directions from somebody on Facebook,
telling him and his cohorts which way to go and where the lawmakers were. So,
and then to seal them in and gas them.
Yes. Seal them in and turn on the gas. So the interesting thing, as I watched all this footage, was the people who built the gallows outside the Capitol. And then there was that handful of, I don't know if you want to call them kind of that quote unquote special forces with the zip tie guy. And they were running through the hall yelling, "Where's Mike Pence?" Talking on a walkie-talkie to who knows who. And someone was allegedly giving them directions to where Mike Pence was. I mean.
Wow. And apparently, are you familiar with a group called the Oath Keepers?
Yes. I have come across them in my research this week.
Have you heard of them previous?
I hadn't heard of them up until about 4 or 5 days ago.
Okay. I've heard about them from a long time ago. They came about during Obama's years as what I gathered from my own observations of people that I knew were involved, which now I wonder, do I need to report those people? Because that feels like me.
Yeah.
Anyway, because they just seem like people that were very upset that Obama was in office for reasons. And these were all ex-military people or current military people. And by the title of their club, Oath Keepers, they were keeping the oath that they took to the Constitution when they signed on to the military to defend the Constitution from all enemies. And this is where they get all flexy, foreign and domestic. That's where they get the big boner.
Right.
So they fancy themselves like the America's secret police, of super patriots, and that they were literally, because the level of involvement of folks, that they are working triple time to patent this off as, calling them protesters is sickening me or not. Calling them rioters. Maybe some of them you could classify as that, and that's giving them a huge benefit of the doubt.
Call them insurgents.
Dude, I'm just saying, to me, of all the group that was there that day, I'm just using a round number, let's say 10,000 people. Of those 10,000 people, and I know we talked about this before, you're talking maybe 100 of them. I bet less. I bet 20 were these folks, these oath-keeping guys and their ilk that were, dressed like military, They were acting like the military. They were moving like the military. They were communicating like the military. What's the joke? If it walks like
a duck,
smells like it. I mean, come on, man. I mean, and that they were trying to pull off that kind of a maneuver. I mean, that is a coup. I mean, that is.
There's no other way to call it.
That is, and that they had so many targets on the menu. You know, right. They had, because every idea from we're going to basically keep decapitating heads of state, you know, the head of state, like right on down the line, you know, Pence, Pelosi. And we get to the guy that we like, Pompeo, right? That was who they were. They wanted to just keep knocking people off until they get to the guy that they like. That was their stooge, right? Yeah. Since Pence wasn't going to play along.
Right.
And then just in case that wasn't going to work, or even if it was, they were willing to apparently wipe out all of Congress and the Senate by gassing them all in the freaking tunnels. And again, it would be one thing. I mean, these folks just, they never, ever do anything other than double down. They just keep doubling down. I mean, do you know anybody that that was supporting it before then, that has stopped supporting it now? I mean, all of the main Republicans, all the main Republicans are still 100% on board. They all just stonewalled the relief package for COVID. I mean, some of them are even allowed to be there. Blows my mind. I mean, like Senator Cruz and was it the Howley guy?
Howley, yeah, from Kansas or Iowa or something.
They're even allowed to be there. Blows my mind.
So do you think?
Anyway, sorry.
No, you're good. Do you think that the day of reckoning is coming for these people? Like once the investigation is done, do you think heads are going to roll? Because if the FBI has members of Congress proof that they were communicating with the rioters, I mean, that's a wrap, right?
I don't know. I mean, you worked there longer than I did. You know what? And we didn't even work at this kind of fucking shit. Yeah.
I mean, I kind of think it's a wrap. I mean,
but I mean, I don't know. I thought there were many examples of, that's a wrap on the previous administration. I don't know, like several steps along the way of examples of them just, I don't know. Anyway, I thought there were plenty of examples to try to pressure. The whole excuse was, we can't do any kind of impeachment because we always knew McConnell was going to be in the way and he'll say no. And then, oh my gosh, we can't do anything. So we better not even try. And then they tried the one time to give them effort for. Good job. You tried. And it was legit.
Yeah.
You know? And then what? We're not going to listen to any of the testimony that, might be relevant. And so never mind. And dismissed.
But now, I mean, he's already out of the office.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, so brave. The only way that it happened now was obviously the Senate shifted and he's obviously he got voted out. Why are we even talking to these people anymore? Why are they? I mean, I thought the whole idea was we have the majorities and we have the president. Why do we even need their consent to do anything? Just start doing this shit.
Well, so the Senate and this will be good for everybody to know. So there's some laws that can only be passed. There's some laws that can be passed with the 5149 or 5150. Now, there are some budgetary things that require a majority or a polarity, I think is the word. There's some that you need 61 votes, and there's some things you need 67 votes, and there's some things you just need one more than the other guy.
Gotcha.
And throughout the different administrations, those things have kind of, bounced back and forth. But the way the rules are now, I think it's a super majority. For some things, you need 67 votes out of 100 in order to get it passed, which would mean you would need all 50 Democratic senators, and then you would need 17 Republicans to flip. That's why they can't just put a bill up and have it vote, because he can, and he can get the 51, it'll go 50-50. He can get the, Vice President Harris to be the 51st vote, but there's some other votes that they're going to need the other side to join in.
Gotcha.
And, I can do a little more research for next time and get you a list of what those things are that need 61 and what those things are that need 67.
So like winning Georgia only gave us the chance to play the game.
Well, no, there are significant amount of things that Biden can do with the simple majority. Significant. Like, for example, all of his people are getting confirmed, right? They're getting confirmed 51-50. That can happen all day. There's some things he can do by executive order. There's other things he can do by 51-50. But when it comes to some of the big things, those things need a majority or a super majority. So he can do quite a bit of stuff with the 50 votes.
I mean, he had a stack of executive orders like the first day, like the day of inauguration. I mean,
right.
I'm going to go sign some stuff right now.
Right. And, ultimately, he's going to want to run that stuff back through Congress, because
the problem, it's just the next administration does the same thing in terms of around. Right?
But if you run that through Congress, you can't then go and undo it by executive order.
But that's the whole problem, is it getting anybody on board from the other side to be on board with Congress.
Right. So the word on the street is they've got 4 or 5 people reliably who will flip, but they don't have 11. If they had 11 or if they had 17 for everything, wouldn't even be a question.
That seems a long ways away. I mean, if they did something super patriotic and formed their own party and splintered the Republicans off and then do all that, that could be.
So this is the way it's going to happen. So you have to kind of look at the long game, right? So every 2 years, so senators have a 6-year term. Right? They all have a 6-year term. But 1/3 of the United States Senate is up for re-election every 2 years. 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, right? So what we need to look and see is in 2022, which 1/3 of the United States Senate is up for re-election. And those Republicans who were in quote unquote blue or purple states, like North Carolina, we're going to have one of our Republican senators is going to be up for re-election in 2022. North Carolina can go either way. North Carolina went for Trump, but it also went for our Democratic governor, which I don't see how somebody goes into the voting booth and votes for Roy Cooper and votes for Donald Trump. I don't get that, but it happened. Yeah. So you have to look at it in thirds. So 2022, 1/3 of the Senate comes up. If any of those senators who are Republicans are in vulnerable districts like my state, the theory is you can get to them and say, if you want to be reelected, you need to work with us. If not, you're going to get voted out. Now, you look at a guy like Mitch McConnell, who's just reelected, he's good for 6 years. He doesn't have to worry about anything for 6 years. But there are some people who are coming up to the final 2 years, and it comes down to politics and it comes down to money. So those are the ones who want to be reelected, right? So let's say you're a Republican senator in North Carolina and you're coming up for reelection in 2020. You want to be able to go on the campaign, and say, hey, I was bipartisan. I voted for these guys and I voted for these guys' bill. Reelect me, And then the people who can take the hard line are the ones who were just reelected this past year, or the ones who are coming up in 4 years, because like you said before, Americans have the memory of a tick, I think you said, and in 4 years, they're not going to remember what somebody voted for this month.
I guess I'm just curious, like, the same core percent that is, like how much is it still a MAGA party now that the head of it's gone? I mean, they're all still scrambling to try to fill that vacuum now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they're all wanting to be able to get the base.
Well, I mean, I think that's the thing that we don't know is what is the MAGA brand right now. I think with some of the hardcore people, the MAGA brand is strong, but I think the true base of the Republican Party is bigger than MAGA. And which side do they go to? You know, it's going to be interesting to see when that first person comes up for re-election, because right now, as we sit here today, Donald Trump is a very toxic person. And I don't know that anybody would run on him as a backer. I think he's very
I get that, but I'm just saying they're all still trying to appeal to his fans. It seems like, you know, like I don't know. Is his core group of supporters up for grabs as a voting base?
I really think it is up for grabs right now.
Wow. Okay.
And I don't know who is going to go. So you look at Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is obviously trying to fill that vacuum right now. He's trying to step up to say, hey, I'm the guy. Marco Rubio is another one who's trying to step up and say, hey, I'm the guy. Mm-hmm. That Halls, whatever his name is, he's trying to step up and say he's the guy. So far, it's those 4 senators that I've seen, and I've been following it pretty close.
There's that kooky lady from Colorado and the other kooky lady from Georgia. The ones that like are wanting to take their pistols into Congress and shit.
Oh, yeah. Well,
they're super nuts.
They are super nuts.
Super duper nuts. Or they? Or I mean, I might be getting confused, but
they're Congress people. They're not senators.
Okay. It's still. I mean, it's ridiculous that they're there. I mean, how can you be? You're that blatantly nuts? And I mean, and that again, things that get passed over in such a weird week. I mean, they installed metal detectors at the Capitol, and like Congress people are like blowing past them because they're like, you can't stop me. I'm on my way to a vote. Nothing can stop that. And they like walk around metal detectors, and these are people that brag about like toting their guns. Sorry, I'm totally derailing your earlier.
No. There's an executive order that's going to come down that's going to stop that.
Well, that's good.
You know, because it's a federal office, it's a federal building, and there is rumor that there's an executive order that's going to say, if you try to bring a firearm into this federal building, we have the right to check to see what your firearm's all about.
Even checking their bags. I mean, come on.
Let me see here. Would you like to know all the senators that are up for re-election in 2022?
I'm sure, and I'm sure our viewers are super curious.
Let me just give you kind of a breakdown. Let me see if there's a good way to do this without it being like super weird.
Well, I guess it's also kind of the idea that it's always important to vote, even in the not humongous elections.
Yes. I mean, so in 2022. There will be 34 senators up for re-election. 14 Democrats and 20 Republicans will be up for re-election in 2022.
Well, like I said, I mean, it's...
So...
Although like in 2018, there was huge turnout. I mean, that was the big blue wave and whatnot.
Yeah. That's 34 seats up. Now, there's some that are not running for re-election, but, 20 Republicans up for re-election in 2 years. So in 2 years, are these guys still going to be running on the Donald Trump brand? What's the Donald Trump brand?
That's the big question is like that base. Are they still trying to appeal to that 30% mega true to the core power,
right? Now,
or do they try to appeal to any kind of broader? I don't know. That's the thing. the Democrats are assumed that they're going to try to appeal to everybody, and it seems like the Republicans are pretty determined to only appeal to some core group that,
right.
And if the Democrats don't do it, oh, well, you're not being inclusive enough. Okay.
I mean, so this is what from what I'm reading right here, they're saying North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina and Pennsylvania are the two true toss-ups, in 2022. So what's interesting in 2022 in my state, North Carolina, Richard Burr, who we could have a whole show about, but I'll leave him alone for now, is retiring. So it's going to be an empty seat that's going to be filled. And it's going to be a bloodbath. There's going to be $500 million spent on this Senate race in primaries and in the general. It's going to get ugly. So we'll see.
Well, I mean, it's an opportunity to, like I said, it's not just the big elections that matter. The small ones certainly do too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Not small, the ones in between.
That's a fantastic text from our executive producer right there.
Nice. I didn't even catch on to the whole Bernie glove meme.
Oh man, that is so good. It's so good.
So I mean, Bar, feel free to if you've got anything specific.
Do you want to go to a little buy or sell right now? You want to do that a little early? You want to save that for later?
No, go for it. If we did that, we're like totally making it in the first hour, like I was kind of hoping to.
Yeah. All right. So.
Yes, go for it. Sorry.
All right. I love that music. That's just a fantastic intro for buy and sell. Great. Okay. All right. In this edition of Buy or Sell, we're going to talk about slogans for companies. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the slogan. And what I want you to do, sir, is you to tell me if you know the company and if you're buying or selling it, meaning if it's moving you to open your wallet.
Okay.
All right? Tell me when you're ready.
Boring.
All right. Fueling the American spirit.
I'm guessing that's a gas station, but I don't know which one. And can I also take another guess and just say that it's like one close to you? So I'm going to say like Sit Go.
Marathon Petroleum.
Dang it. Okay.
All right.
Nope.
What do you say? Buy or sell on that?
Oh, I don't know. Unremarkable.
So this one, I didn't realize this one's okay. This slogan, and I've actually never heard this slogan before, but here we go. Own a Jaguar at the price of a car. Have you ever heard that slogan before?
No, but again, I do like, this is fun because I like to guess.
Right.
Own a Jaguar at the price of a car. Is it a Ford?
Jaguar.
See, it's so obvious. I was going to go I had to go somewhere else.
Right. And I guess the meaning behind that one is they're saying a Jaguar is like, it's above a car. You can own this Jaguar at the price of a car.
Yeah. I drive a Jag. Yeah.
All right. Here's the next one.
All right.
Open happiness.
Beers.
Coca-Cola.
Okay.
Or enjoy.
Well, that's like on their can, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So they have two. All right, here's the next one. Think different.
Oh, I think that's Apple's, isn't it?
Yes, it is Apple. You're buying or selling that?
Oh, I can't. I mean, whatever. I mean, we all have to be on their part of the program.
All right, here we go. Next one.
They could fill that space with any text.
Yes.
Or just leave it blank.
Yes.
Doesn't freaking matter.
Yes.
We're all buying it. We're all buying it.
All right. Here. You can't beat the real thing.
No. That was not another soda?
Yes. Coca-Cola.
Yeah, like many Coca-Cola. Are you how much Coca-Cola do you drink?
I'm actually a Pepsi guy.
I know we talked about that before, right? Because that's like a big thing. Because Coca-Cola comes from Georgia or from North Carolina?
Yeah, Atlanta, Georgia.
So you kind of have to drink Coca-Cola there.
Pepsi guy.
Like everything is just called a Coke, right?
Yeah, I drink. But you know me, I've got all my little.
Yeah, no. Well, we talked about doing the graveyards. Which, by the way, like I remember doing those. I mean, good. I'm going to get off track. Go ahead. Sorry. Fire something.
You know, I do prefer Sprite, which is a Coke product, but if I'm going to drink a dark soda, I prefer Pepsi over Coke. But anyways, all right, here's another one.
Okay.
Zoom.
Huh?
Zoom.
The Mazda, for sure.
Mazda, yeah. Okay. Thumbs up, thumbs down on that one?
Sure. I mean, it's as a slogan, you know, it's catchy.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that you remembered it. All right.
It's unique enough. I mean, I'm a car person, so
yeah.
I guess that's my disclaimer there. I mean, if you weren't a car person, maybe you wouldn't care.
Seafood differently.
Is that like Red Lobster?
Red Lobster. Look at you.
I just, Jim, I just got back from Red Lobster.
All right. You're doing pretty good on this one. All right. This one.
Do you remember that shit was Isaiah Thomas?
I do remember that. Yes.
Zeke, it's good to have you.
Yeah.
Hey, Jim, I just got back from Red Lobster.
It's style.
It is style?
It's style.
I don't know. Gap?
No, it's a company called Solex.
Okay.
And I don't know what the heck Solex is. It's a bicycle company. It's a moped.
Not a bicycle.
Interesting. All right.
Ooh, can I go on a rant?
Yeah, go on a rant.
Thanks. E-bikes.
Yes. Talk to me.
Are you familiar with them?
I am familiar.
Do you like them?
I probably would never ride one.
Are they a bicycle?
I've always thought of them more as a motorcycle or a moped.
Why?
Because they have a motor. It's an electric motor, and they go fast, and you can hurt yourself on one.
Well, backing up a bit, I mean, because you can hurt yourself on lots of things, and many things do go fast. But the first part of what you said,
they have a motor.
That one,
yeah.
So
I'd put them more in the moped category.
Almost like it's a motor vehicle.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
It's a vehicle and it has a motor, so it's a motor vehicle.
Right. So do folks ride those there? Do you see them on the road?
They are not that popular here. You see them every now and then, but they're more the exception than they are the rule.
For sure. I'm curious how much that will change, especially in cities, because you don't need a license. It's a bike. And so you can ride that on the sidewalk, I guess, or whatever. And so I think that they are going to become more and more popular and may, in fact, need a bit
of regulation.
You saw me.
I saw that coming a mile away. I mean, hell, we regulate scooters. The little Lime scooters that people ride,
Indeed, and those go a lot slower.
They do.
So yeah, and these e-bikes are not only ridden on the street; they're also ridden on the trail.
Mm-hmm.
And I oppose that idea.
I was going to say that's probably a lot of fun for you on your traditional bike coming up to this e-bike going like 40.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing the people who are riding an e-bike on the trail are probably the most polite people you've ever come across. Is that true?
Well, now here, I can't put that just on the e-bike part of it, because douchebags
span the spectrum.
Yes. And again, the area where I'm talking about, bike riding in the woods is just it is just it is the mecca of the privileged. It just is.
Mm-hmm.
And so the mindset that is out there is, just nothing stands in my way, which is kind of a shame, because like when I first got into riding my bike in the woods, like as a kid, it was just like any kid did. You just rode around, whatever. And then like as I became older and not a kid anymore, like fewer people my age rode their bikes anymore. And then as I became an adult, like even fewer people did for a while. And then it's kind of blown up a bit. But I would ride my bike in the woods, and it was kind of a thing there was a courtesy there are rules and etiquette of the trail.
Mm-hmm.
And you learn them as, through experience. Hopefully somebody points them out for you. And everybody kind of is aware of them, and everybody was really kind of into it. And somewhere along the way, and lots of folks would attribute it to doing the the GoPros, the Super Huck Shred Fest, Red Bull 2000 Fest.
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably right. But at the same time, it can't just be that, and because there's just maybe there's just population density.
Well, let me ask you a question. Is that like the old debate of why skiers hate snowboarders, that kind of thing?
No. And let me tell you why. And I love that you bring that up, even though you don't do either one.
Correct.
But nevertheless, it's a great analogy. And here's why I don't agree with it, though. Because fundamentally, skiers and snowboarders, or maybe I do agree with it, but it's not because I just hate snowboarders.
Mm-hmm.
But skiers and snowboarders fundamentally go down the mountain differently. They just go down the mountain differently. And because they do, mixing the two is challenging. Because, for example, a snowboarder will go like this and like this and like this generally. Whereas a skier will more often go like this. So if you have two people at the top and they both go in at once, and one guy goes like this and like this, you see what I'm saying? It's just no good.
Yeah, problematic.
It is. And a lot of folks will go, oh, it's just the bros and the now there's plenty of bros in skiing, and there are plenty of jerks in skiing. Just there just are. There just are. But I've only been nailed and taken out by snowboarders. Now, is that just because it's only snowboarders that ride out of control? No, not necessarily. However, just because we're going to go on a topic here.
Right.
It is easier to go fast on a snowboard as a beginner and survive, as long as you don't crash into anything, than on skis. Newer skis make it a lot easier, which is kind of leading to the same phenomenon of inexperienced skiers or snowboarders, riders, if you will, because now they're all just categorized as a rider.
Rider.
because skis have kind of gotten to be more like snowboards. Instead of long and skinny, skis have become shorter and fatter.
Yeah, they kind of
right, and people are starting to ride skis almost like in a snowboardy kind of fashion. Mm-hmm. But it also has allowed people that are at a very beginner level to really go into some pretty advanced terrain or go really fast.
Well, I mean, there's a whole saying.
Don't know how to stop.
There's a whole saying that we use in the business world. Don't get ahead of your skis, right?
Really?
Yeah, we always say that. Hey, don't get ahead of your skis, meaning don't go too fast and get into territory that you're not willing to deal with.
No, for sure. I've never heard that. But yes, it's true. And the snowboards really started it, but the new kind of skis have followed along, and they really allow an inexperienced person to go quite a ways all over the mountain and be somewhat successful, but yet they still really don't know what they're doing.
Right.
I mean, they're very inexperienced.
And they're going faster than they should be going.
Yeah, they either go too fast or they get out into terrain that they have no idea how to be out in. Or mostly they just get going too fast and they don't know how to slow down. But the skis or the snowboard, the technology is so good now, is that, I mean, you just stand there and you can be stable and going, and,
right.
and it'll take you along. But you kind of still got to know how to do something at that point. And, in the old days, for skiing at least, I mean, just to be able to stand up was like an achievement, I mean, to be able to go 30 feet without falling was an achievement. Yeah. So you learned in very small increments, and you kind of got used to the whole environment around you and how to interact with it and the etiquette involved. Whereas now, especially on a snowboard, you kind of get to the top of the hill, put that thing on. If you've ever skateboarded before, if you've ever been on a surfboard before,
right,
you kind of got it. And you got it enough to just hold that thing and just kind of
without necessarily knowing the etiquette of the mountain and what you should and shouldn't be doing,
and getting way beyond the beginner slope. I guess that's a big point. It's one thing to do all that shit like on the Buttercup run. Everybody expects it. Mm-hmm. Everybody expects you to be out of control and crazy on the super beginner slope. But when you get out to the big general part of the mountain, people assume that you have a certain level of confidence or capability.
Well, isn't that like the assumed thing? If you're on a blue run, or I don't know, I'm just kind of picking colors, but if you're on a certain run that, you get to the top of the mountain and it says expert level needed for this is, whatever, and you shouldn't be there unless you kind of know what you're doing. For sure.
And that's the whole part about doing stuff like that is you get yourself over your head and you scare the crap out of yourself, or you hurt yourself or whatever. That is the hugest, that is the main part. That's the big draw, because even as a beginner, the Buttercup Hill looks like a cliff and top of the mountain. When you're a stone cold beginner, you're like, what is that? But once you get, it progresses along. It just progresses really fast now. Like you can. Well, really.
I think the thing you said that struck me the most is someone who is not a winter sports person, just because I've got really terrible knees, and is that the technology is so much better now. Like myself, I could go up to Timberline, Meadows, wherever, pick your place in the country, and rent some equipment that could make me look like I know what I'm doing when I don't, right?
No, maybe okay, I really
let's say I'm a fairly athletic.
It would allow you to slide down the mountain and not fall over it immediately. Mm-hmm. And it would let you get just enough speed to probably kill yourself, or to smash into somebody else. And that's without knowing anything about anything. And that's why, if you're a brand new beginner, take a lesson. Please just take a lesson.
So let's say I'm a fairly athletic person with a decent balance.
Yes.
I could go up to the mountain and rent some equipment if I have the coin to do it. That could make me probably more confident than I should be or need to be.
More confident than old equipment.
Gotcha.
Like honestly, like old skis, just putting them on and trying to even move, it was hard to do, and you would fall over, or I mean, it was a big accomplishment, and so it's a lot easier. The learning curve is not as steep anymore.
Gotcha.
Which is really, I mean, it's real. Don't get me wrong, it's really nice. I learned the old way. It sucked. You know, I love the new way, but you still have to have somebody teaching you what to do. You just do. And the age old problem with skiing and snowboarding is that people take their buddy up and get them outfitted, get their rental, and they go, "Come on, buddy," and you try to go keep up with your buddies. So you go to the main lift and you go, "Holy shit!" and you ride up to the very top of the mountain, and then you're like, "Holy shnikes!"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Okay, bro, let's go," and they all take off. And you're like, what the F am I going to do now? Because holy crap. And I mean, it's crazy. Like seeing people like walk down the mountain, you realize you're a long ways up there. And it's crazy to try to walk down that mountain in the snow.
That's dangerous.
Oh, it's dangerous as shit. But what's also dangerous is trying to do that stuff and not being able to stop yourself. Right. You know, I mean, that's no joke. I mean, you know, trees don't give. Yeah. So, and people do a little bit more than a tree.
Right.
You're going to hit something, nail a person, I guess.
Yeah. And a person will break your fall.
And, you know what? And I did like when I was young. And here's the thing. Here's what's so crazy. Is it as much as I'm trying to say, oh my gosh, this new technology gets people in trouble that are getting in over their heads. I mean, when I was young, like my second or third time skiing, I had half a lesson, and then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go try to keep up with my friends, and got out of control as shit. Screaming out of control. And I mean, this poor lady, like, was standing like right in the middle of the run, looking back up the run. You know, here I come.
Right.
Man, I hit her. I hit like all of me, and I'm not small. Even when I was like teenage me, I mean, I hit her like right at like the ankles.
Oof.
I mean, it was brutal.
Took her out, huh?
Oh, bad. I felt horrible. I was so out of control. And, you know, that's the whole point, is that I didn't have anybody teaching me properly. I had one half a lesson, and then I was off. And, you know, every time I've gone up and I've taught other people, you know, that's in my mind, you know, don't want anybody doing that.
See, if I go up to the mountain, I stick to the inner tubes. I like to stick.
Dude, I knew you were going to say it, and those are dangerous as F. What? Man, dial up some YouTube inner tube videos. Come on.
No
brakes. Your only brakes is jump, bitch. I mean,
now you're not as high up on the mountain in an inner tube, right? You feel safer on skis.
What do you have to stop? You got nothing. I've done the inner tubes and I've almost died. And I'm like, God, even as a kid, I was like, Mom, you're letting us do this? This is crazy.
Sled?
I mean, it was a slope into the woods. And if you really tried to ball it like every kid tries to do.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. What do? You grab the inner tube. You run, jump, land, and you're off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, holy shit nuts.
I gotta stop.
Here comes the forest. You know, I mean.
I like the inner tubes. I think the inner
they're great. I mean,
I've toyed with the idea of taking the kids up to the mountains of North Carolina, and my wife was showing me something where it's this crazy thing. You get in this car, it's takes you on this rail, and you're just like zooming around, and I don't know. I might check it out.
Good luck.
Maybe I'll take the camera up there and have some footage for the show.
You got a GoPro, right? I mean, and if you don't get one, and hold on to it the whole way down, and let me.
Oh man,
that'd be great.
All right, so I gotta let's jump back to the slogans. All right,
more slogans.
Are you ready?
Oh.
Coffee that inspires.
It's got to be Starbucks. I mean,
it's Starbucks.
Yeah, big enough to have slogans.
Okay, this one.
And by the way, fucking barf. I mean, really, you inspire me to what? Put some cream and sugar and more cream and sugar because your coffee tastes burnt and shitty. I mean, it's the only thing you're inspiring me to do.
Remember, I don't drink coffee, so this one's on you.
Really, not at all.
I haven't
even like the coffee milkshakes or whatever.
I haven't had a coffee in 5 years.
Is that like pointedly trying not to? Like you're trying to like lower your coffee intake, or?
It just started eating a hole in my stomach.
We talked about that. We can talk about bad tummies because you're talking to the king of bad tummies. And
no, I
got tips, baby.
I do fancy a tea. I do like tea.
But do you miss coffee?
No, it's been too long. It's been too long. I think I did miss coffee.
When you get a whiff of it?
What's that?
Even when you get like a whiff of it, like just being brewed or something, you're like.
No, I get up probably 5 days out of the week. I get up and make my wife coffee.
Oh shit! And that doesn't bother you at all?
Nope.
Wow.
Nope.
I mean, like if I had to like get up in the morning and like roll my wife a huge spliff. Here you go, baby. You know. Yeah. No. Okay.
Yeah, no. It doesn't bother me. Like I'll make her coffee, and she drinks 2 or 3 cups of coffee a day, and I'll go and get a tea. I do like chai tea. I do like that chai tea.
Yeah. The chai tea is good.
But I get it with soy milk.
All right, because you're lactose intolerant because of the tongue. I'm telling you, there might be other issues at hand with your tongue. I'm just telling you, and we could get into a tummy issue because. I feel you. I mean, I have a shitty stomach, and I have had for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been only through my wife's good help that any of it has gotten better. Otherwise, I'd probably be spitting up blood by now. I mean, honestly. Man, at my worst, have you ever done this one? Stopped at the side of the road and thrown up?
I have not. Thank goodness.
Yeah. So diet is everything. You are what you eat. And finding out, what it is that inflames our bodies. Because inflammation, I think, is everything. Like, here's me as a scientist, even at a molecular level, like everything that's ever wrong, not everything, but almost everything that's ever wrong with our bodies is somehow inflammation of something. A lot of it.
I can see that.
One or the other, it's inflammation of something. Because that's the way our body is going, hey, there's a problem here. Needs some attention.
Right. I can see that, yeah.
And this is what I run with anyway. And again, this is also why I wish I could do it. So again, there's a fellow that you should look up that the cold therapy. I'm just a big fan of the idea.
Okay.
I can't. The true masters are out there, like when it's snowing, getting in some water.
Right.
Like getting in like a frozen ass lake, breaking a hole in the ice and jumping in.
What do they call that? The polar bear guys or the polar bear club?
Right. Right. And even getting in it for a moment is crazy. But there's some folks that get in it for like extended periods. And I only recently got a thermometer I have a pool and it's wonderful. And I like to get in it when I think it's cold. And I always thought, oh, I'm so brave because it feels so cold. And I finally got a thermometer for the pool to see how brave I really was.
Uh-huh.
I'm not that brave. It was like at the coldest, it was, what was it? It was like 49, right? And it's cold. Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not freezing. That's not even close.
Right. Still pretty cold.
It is cold. But I mean, dude, I got in. I mean, I couldn't even be in for 10 seconds. I was like, oh my God. Trying to breathe, can't breathe, trying to breathe. Oh my God, I got to get out. And that was, you know what I mean? And I felt like I was like king of the mountain. You know what I mean? I got out and I was like, woohoo, I'm amazing. And I'm like, that's not even close. You know? So this guy, and his name's Wim Hof, and he has like this whole, I mean, dude, you can like take a class and go fly to Norway or Sweden or wherever that shit he is.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll teach you how to do it too if you want to learn. And it's all about breathing, you know, it's a big thing. And I'm not trying, you know, these folks, you know, I get into this meditative state with their breathing and go to, you know, hey, you know, cool, you could have a drink too, or, you know, smoke some weed or drop some acid. I don't know, whatever. But he actually had himself injected with, oh, I don't know what disease it was. But I mean, it was like the flu.
Mm-hmm.
Like in a scientific setting, had himself injected to prove that he could do his breathing technique and his meditation. And he would fight off any symptoms. He didn't have a fever. Wow. Man, check him out. Wim Hof. He's kind of a kook, but whatever. You see him doing that stuff. And I mean, like, I don't know if you ever even walk like barefoot in the snow. You ever try to even do that?
Yeah, it's not fun.
Like just for like a moment, like try to stand barefoot in the snow.
Yeah. I remember, I don't think you were there. Back in the law firm days, a bunch of us went somewhere cold and there was a hot tub there. I don't think you were there. And I remember we were getting out of the hot tub and running out in the snow and doing a snow angel and then jumping back in the hot tub.
That's the best. I mean, just the hot, cold.
Yeah.
That was the best. You're stimulating your whole body, I believe. Again, I'm not a scientist, just in case you thought I was. But
I enjoy the hot tub a lot more than I did the snow angels. Put it that way.
But how much did you enjoy the hot tub after the snow angel?
Oh, it was the best.
Like, immensely more, right?
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
It's so good. And how good did it feel? Like, how exciting was it to go jump into the snow? It may not feel great, but it was exciting. You're like, woo, shit, woo, woo, woo.
Yeah.
And then you run on back and then, you know, into the hot water again because you knew that, you know, was waiting for you and it was going to feel great. And that back and forth. And I think that gets your body really, you know.
Oh, it does great things for your blood flow.
That's what I'm saying. And I don't know exactly what all that does. And I'm sure that science tries to, you know, study a lot of that. But I do think that it's good for you. I really do. Similar to like, you know, exercising outside when it's cold or rainy or shitty. Mm-hmm. Or even like, you know, skiing, you know, I mean, hello, you're up on a mountain in the cold. So, but you're bundled up. And I'm not advocating, you know, people go and make themselves sick, but, I don't know. There's just something, I think there's something to being out in the elements and without overtaxing yourself, you know, taxing yourself to the point, you know, that I think it makes your body better for it. Mm-hmm. There's my health tip.
Thank you. You ready for the next one?
Heck yeah.
I've never heard this one before. Make the most of now.
I don't know.
Vodafone.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, sure.
All right, here's another one. Connecting people.
Also sounds like a phone company.
Nokia.
Boom.
All right. Melts in your mouth, not in your hands.
Oh, come on now. Come on, everybody. Everybody likes chocolate. Did you ever like pick out different M&Ms because you thought they like tasted different?
I think everybody did that.
Right?
I think everybody did. Skittles definitely tasted different, obviously.
Well, yeah, they were designed to, but I mean, I'm talking M&Ms.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't, but it was just fun to say, oh, this one tastes like orange. This one tastes like, whatever.
My favorite ones are red. Why? Because they're red.
Because they're red. All right, here's another one. Twist the cap to refreshment.
It sounds like soda, obviously, but yeah.
Coke. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Man, you got like all the Coca-Cola slogans going on.
They made the top 50 list in my research. All right, here's one. Have it your way.
It's like one of the burger joints.
Burger King.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
All right.
By the way, which one do you prefer? Like, like the Burger King or the McDonald's?
I haven't had McDonald's in probably 3-4 years. Aside from fries, I haven't had their meat in 3 or 4 years.
So you're a Burger King person, or do you
probably haven't had Burger King burger in that long also.
Okay. Man, back in the day, like when I was a kid. Like,
but I do like Taco Bell. I will tear it from Taco Bell.
So what makes you draw the line?
McDonald's. Yeah. When I eat McDonald's food, it makes me sick.
Somehow Taco Bell.
Taco Bell's just fine.
Solid.
Well, maybe not solid, but
maybe a little runny.
Yeah, I can't eat McDonald's. It just does not agree with me at all.
See, I mean, these are some. I don't know. I'm trying to track like a common thread here, and I'm having a hard time because,
But when I go to,
what do you get at Taco Bell? I mean, unless you're just getting like beans.
No. When I go to Taco Bell, I only order chicken. I don't order the beef. So if my favorite thing at Taco Bell is I get the Nacho Bel Grande, but I get chicken instead of beef. I
still feel like that would just destroy me.
And it's fine. Yeah, I don't order a lot of beef from fast foods.
Well, so why do you feel like chicken is okay and not beef? They're both super industrial meats.
No, absolutely. I just enjoy grilled chicken. That's why I like Chick-fil-A. I just enjoy grilled chicken more than I enjoy meat.
And speaking of grilled chicken, it's delicious.
Yeah,
you're right. You're spot on. We've had some recently, and because it's difficult. Like, I can't fit into any of my work clothes. It's sad. I have such great shirts. Right. And I can't fit into a damn one. So I'm trying, and every time I've tried to pick up a new indoor, I've always abhorred indoor exercising. I don't like feeling like a gerbil on a little wheel.
Right.
And so I've never done it, ever. And I've spent almost a year not doing it now. But I've been able to bike ride through most of that, but I haven't been bike riding for a while. And now I'm like, okay, fine, I got to do something. And now every time I try to do something, I'm like, oh, I'll try this workout video thing. And then I'm like, oh, I just fucked myself up so bad, it's not good. So yeah, I gotta work out. I gotta work on my indoor workouts.
I gotcha. All right. This is an easy one. Finger looking good.
Do you actually like KFC?
I've probably had KFC.
Not how many times have you had it? Do you actually like it?
Not really.
Okay.
I don't like a lot of fried chicken though.
Because I like KFC. And like like Christmas Eve, like when I was a kid, we had a lot of folks over on Christmas Eve. Was like the big night for Christmas. Christmas Day was kind of, it was more chill. But for our family,
big night.
Christmas Eve was the big night. And I mean, like, it was like aunts, uncles, cousins. And I mean, it was huge. I mean, there was like for me, I mean, it felt like it was a lot of people, like 20 something people.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and it was also like one of the few times we would get to have McDonald's, and like my mom would go and get like the 20-piece nuggets. Like that was like when 20-piece nuggets were like the first time I ever heard of them. And like, I remember seeing them as a commercial, and I was like, oh, Mom, I gotta have the 20-piece nuggets. She's like, you're never having that. Stop it. But then Christmas Eve, we got to have it, and I was like, oh, are you kidding? Like the buffet of nuggets and so many sauces. But then my old man, he's like, no, I'm not having no damn nugget.
He went and got KFC.
Had to have KFC. And I would always have some of that too, because
remember the KFC used to come in that bucket that was like red and white?
That was the one. That's what I'm saying. That's what Pops had. And then, because like I said, he wasn't going to have a nugget. But KFC, I don't know. It might be some rat, or it might be.
I take that back. I had KFC about a month ago, and I hadn't had it in years. And my wife went to the drive-thru, and I don't even know why she went to KFC, but she brought me like a thing, and it had like chicken and a biscuit and some fries. And I was like, this is like actually pretty good. And there's a KFC like a mile from me, and I drive by it like every day, and I just never stop because I can just keep going and go to the Chick-fil-A, and I just prefer the Chick-fil-A.
Wait, do you get grilled chicken at Chick-fil-A? No. Do you really?
Yes.
Oh shit! I figured the only thing to get there is like the fried chicken biscuit thing.
I get the grilled chicken. I get the grilled chicken and egg whites. Yeah, I get the grilled chicken
and egg whites.
Yeah, and when I go to get breakfast, I'll get the grilled chicken and egg whites. Just keep. Okay. All right.
I can't. I'll have to bust your balls all fucking night for that. I mean, oh my god.
All right, I'm loving it.
It's not Chick-fil-A.
No, it's not Chick-fil-A. It's McDonald's. All right, this is an old one. I don't even know if this company's around.
Is all of buy or sell slogans, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
These are all slogans.
All right.
Let your fingers do the walking.
That was like the Yellow Pages or whatever.
Yellow Pages, yes.
Hey.
Uh-oh. Please tell me you have a phone book.
Comfortable into the rocking chair here, kids.
I thought you were going to grab a phone book. I was going to say, please don't do it.
I ain't got a damn phone book. I would like to get another drink maybe, but look at that. Damn, it's already. Anyhow, a phone book, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, folks of all ages. Well, folks of all ages, old folks know what the hell a phone book is.
Yes.
Younger folk, a phone book was something that would come to your door every year. Was it?
Yeah.
Every 6 months, every year, I think.
It was big.
Thicker than shit with the thinnest of rice type paper. It wasn't rice paper, it was just paper, but it was so thin. Because there was so much information to be printed. It was remarkable. I mean, it was every business. It was every school. It was every federal agency. It was every local agency. Mm-hmm. It was everything.
Anything that had a phone number or an address was in the Yellow Page.
Was in there.
And then in the White Page.
Ooh, shit. And so we can go back to the phone book. It's great. It's a phone book. Like you mentioned, it's thick. Many phone numbers. You would phone, had a cord to the wall. You couldn't leave. You had to dial shit. Can I just say, since we're the Thomas Guide.
The Thomas Guide. Yeah.
Now, that might not be something you ever dealt with much.
I remember the Thomas Guide. I didn't deal with it a lot, but I definitely remember the Thomas Guide.
As somebody who made a living in my vehicle before the internet, and just at the beginning of cell phones, really, there was a thing called the Thomas Guide, which was similar to like the Yellow Pages.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of the phone book being a listing of all the people, like you had to carry many books. the Thomas Guide was a map of your area, city, whatever. But instead of a big foldy out map that would be cumbersome, it was kind of in a book.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd flip it, and there would be pages, right? And I would be able, I would have the Thomas Guide on my lap. And this is a lot easier once I got an automatic. But for a minute, I did this with a stick shift. Eating a burrito with a soda in the cup holder,
Mm-hmm.
smoking a butt,
Mm-hmm.
shifting, flipping the Tom Guide, checking my coordinates on my map.
Oh man.
And then want to talk about distracted driving now.
Exactly. God, good times. Oh, I remember the days before GPS when you actually had to look at a map. Remember like printing out MapQuest? Remember that?
No, that's what I'm saying. It was all Thomas Guide. I mean, that's all I ever did back in the day.
God, the map. I don't know, like nowadays, like you just tell your phone where you want to go, and it tells you turn left, turn right, turn right, turn left, turn left, and.
But even that, so I mean, most of the time that routing is decent. But God, there's times where the routing is just shite. And you know, like if it was ever like a place that like you know how to get there.
Yeah.
And the routing like takes you like some crazy way, and you're like, no, you just
like,
go over here.
No, Siri, I don't want to go that way. I want to go this way.
Well, I mean, similar like if you're ever playing GTA, you know, I mean, you know, the little yellow line will tell you to go this way, or you just bust a Yui on the freeway and you know cut some people off and you know spray some bullets.
All right, so this one I didn't know this one. I guess I did, but I didn't. Stronger than dirt.
I have no idea.
Ajax.
All right.
Okay. For the men in charge of change.
What about bringing home the bacon and frying up in a pan? Remember that one? Come on. Bring home the bacon and fry it up in a pan. Oh, goddamn. I used to sing that shit when I was a kid.
Who was that? What was that?
Oh, it's a cologne. Type it. Google it. Do it. Telling you. Bring home the bacon. Fry it up in the pan. Because I'm a woman. See, I'm telling you, man.
Bring home the bacon fried up in a pan.
And I'll never let you know that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, give your wife a hug for me.
Okay. All right. There it is.
Tell me. I was singing, because I'm a woman. Yeah. She knows.
All right. Okay. So that was Fortune magazine.
By the way, kids, that's going to be a clip.
Yeah, that'll be a clip. Definitely be a clip.
Oh,
all right.
Bringing home the bacon. All right. What else are you bringing home the bacon with? Come on.
When you care enough to send the very best.
I don't ever fucking care. That's the thing. I don't. I am the worst fucking gift giver. And you want to know why? I'll tell you why right fucking now.
Why is that?
Sorry if I'm cursing. If your family's there. Sorry, fam.
It's good.
The booze. I used to give great gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And then my young heart got smushed. And I was like, you know what? Screw gifts. They don't get you anywhere. And that's terrible for me. But all the romance was gone. Thrill is gone. And it was. And I've never done well trying to fire that back up with like, oh, I'm going to be good at the gift giving. And here's why I continue to suck at it now. I handle no finances here. None. For all I know, all my money goes to supporting people that, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know where my money goes. And so there's no way that I could ever surprise my wife with a gift. I don't control any of the money. I mean, like if I made a purchase, it's not like she doesn't see it coming a mile off. So it's like, what do you want? And if we can afford it, I guess, okay. You know? Which brings up probably a tender point, and sorry, honey, Christmas. We never give gifts, like ever. Our wife and I give 0 gifts to each other. Let me emphasize this. We've been married for, I don't know, 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
We don't give gifts to each other, like ever. Like as far as like, it's an event, it's an occasion, it's the special day on the calendar. Here is the corresponding gift. That does not happen here. Our romance level, 0. It's none. And thankfully she's okay with it, or if she's not, she does a good job hiding it. But it's never been a thing. And part of the reason, like I said, is because I can't, if I said, oh, by the way, I need a few $100.
Right. It would be kind of weird. Yeah.
She'll never suspect a thing. It's just for all the extra crack I'm going to go smoke. I mean, come on. So there's no surprise. There's no, ooh. It's just, do you want something or not? Can we afford it or not? Go get it or don't. Fine. So then she got us gifts this Christmas. I'm like, here's the thing. She's like, oh, here's your gift. And I'm like,
you're like, gift?
Like all the kids are playing with all their shit. I mean, there's Christmas stuff everywhere. It's a wonderful Christmas. I'm like,
yeah.
I've done great. I haven't lost my shit over anything. I'm on easy street chilling. And then she's like, oh, or like one of my kids was like, oh, daddy, this one's for you. And I'm like, what is this? And she's like, oh, that's your gift. And I'm like, my gift? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I open it. Don't like it. Don't want it. Didn't ask for it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm thinking all this in my head as I'm looking at it. And I'm like, 100% of the time in the past, I would say something right then.
Right.
100% of the time. I would just, boom, what the shit is this? Why are you even giving this to me? We never give each other gifts. Why would you do this now? This sucks.
Yeah.
And this is all going through my head. And I'm like, don't.
Right.
And
however.
No, however. I didn't.
Okay.
Then. And I waited.
Mm-hmm.
I think later that day.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say I waited till the next day. I really want to say I waited till like not Christmas Day. I'm almost positive I waited many days.
You waited till at least Boxing Day.
Nice. Canadian.
Yeah, Canadian.
Canadian airing and grievances.
Yes.
But then I'm like, okay, now it's sat there for a minute. You know what I'm saying? And because I kind of played it off. Like when I first got, I was like,
You pretended like you liked it.
And I'm like, should I just roll with that? Just go. But I knew that I couldn't. Here's why. Because it was a wallet. My initials on it. Didn't like it. I don't want it. I use a wallet now that's it's like my granddad's wallet that I found in a box. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. I'm going to reinvigorate that. And I've been using that lately and I kind of like it. It doesn't have my initials on it. I don't care.
Right.
I like it. And so I was like, I can't really roll with it because I'm not going to use it. And that's going to be kind of weird.
That'll be awkward.
Right. Might go noticed. And so I'm like, at some point, you just got to nip this in the bud.
Yeah.
And while I pat myself on the back for not doing it at that moment, because as much as I like to nip things in the bud, there are times and places for everything. And usually I would have ruined Christmas Day right there, but I didn't. And I think I'm great.
You dislocated your shoulder, patting yourself on the back, right?
Dude, as you've known, I could do that like just, yes. But anyway, I think I'm great. But then I got an argument about why I wasn't. And I said, what is this? I'm like, if you just want, because it was like, oh, by the way, here's my earrings. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, if you just wanted earrings, just go buy earrings.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's fine. But don't buy me something I don't, or at least ask me something I might want.
Right.
And then, or even let me know we're doing the whole gift thing. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not the greatest at gifts either, but I did, well, now that I know my wife's listening, I did get her a Valentine's Day gift. And so
way ahead of schedule. Holy crap.
Yeah, I'm prepared. I got her 2 Valentine's. Anyways, I'm not gonna
you're like super romance, dude. You always have been.
Well, I don't know about all that.
No, you really wrote the book on some shit. I've always just like,
So I got her 2 Valentine's Day gifts, and I don't know if she's gonna like either one. I don't know if she's gonna use either one, but I got her 2 gifts.
But she'll appreciate that.
We'll see.
More than I did, apparently.
So, but the tricky thing about here is with COVID, we're all stuck in the house, and you get the ding dong, and there's a package on the front.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and it's like my wife is like the queen of Amazon. Like 2 packages showed up today, and I'm like, I don't know what they are. I'm like, what is this? Oh, I ordered something. So if something shows up with my name on it, and I have to be careful because the Amazon account's in her name. So if I order something, it'll come in her name and she'll open it.
So how do you get around that?
I don't.
That's what I'm saying. Like but I mean, doesn't she see the initial purchase anyway? Like you can't surprise anything.
So I've resorted. So her Valentine's gifts, I didn't buy them on Amazon, so therefore she can't see what they are.
But you still buy them online?
I just buy it online with a different account. But I'm just saying, like,
kudos to you, sir, for controlling your own money.
Yes. So I got her 2 gifts, and I guess they're kind of cheesy. They're kind of Valentine's Day gifts, but we'll see. I was trying to be thoughtful. One will be for me, and one will be from the kids. And I haven't told the kids what they are. So here's the deal. My 11-year-old is like a steel trap. I could tell her state secrets and no one would ever know. My 8-year-old, the minute I walk away, Mommy, here's what Daddy just told me.
Nice.
I'm like, whoa. Oh, my 8-year-old will rat me out. She'll rat me out. She's a mama's girl. So I can't tell the 8-year-old anything. Now the 11-year-old, me and her, we're like this.
Nice. Well, at least you know the lay of the land. So that's
I'm like, here's where we're getting Mommy, and she's like, all right, I won't say anything, and she won't say anything. You tell the 8-year-old, and it's one of those
already working them against each other. Look at you.
Yeah. And you know how like you tell somebody something, and they're like, they just can't wait to go tell somebody else.
Some folks, yeah.
Yeah, that's my 8-year-old. She just, if I tell her something for Mommy, she'll go, Mommy, I have a surprise, but I can't tell you. And I'm like, will you stop it? She's like, Mommy, I'm not going to tell you the surprise. And I'm like, why did you even tell her there was a surprise? Anyways, so that last one was Hallmark.
Good follow.
All right, here's one. Be careful with this one.
Always.
Pleasing people the world over.
Trojan.
Holiday Inn. All right. The happiest place on earth.
Also Trojan. No, Disney.
Yeah, Disney. All right. The greatest tragedy is indifference.
The Trojan thing works on like almost all these, right?
It sure does.
It really does. It's kind of like the fortune cookie, like in bed. I don't know about the indifference thing.
Red Cross.
All right. Have you? I know you've donated blood.
Yeah.
I have a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't do any Samaritan shit like that anymore. All right.
When there is no tomorrow.
Also the Red Cross.
FedEx.
Sounds a little fatalistic, FedEx.
Sure does. Okay, here, let me go up a little bit, and let's skip over some of these companies that are no longer in business.
Nice.
Challenge everything.
It sounds like some Apple tech bullshit.
EA's EA.
EA. How much of a dick can EA eat? All of it, really.
All of it.
And I just want to say that because, like, as a gaming fan, and a long time ago, there was a big rivalry in the sporting gaming world and it was all around football. There was
Madden.
K, which was Madden.
Yeah.
And then there's NFL 2K.
Yes.
Which was Sega.
Yes.
That's the good one.
That was the good one.
And then there was Madden. But EA but one had huge bucks behind it, and then the other was the good one.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, the good one died, and EA kept going and tried to bite the good one as much as they could.
Oh, God, it was terrible. Dude, 2K was such a better game.
And as much as the thing that blew my mind, even when they destroyed their competition, even when they completely bit everything their competition came up with, they still couldn't get it right.
Mm-hmm.
It still was garbage.
Mm-hmm.
It was still Bo Jackson running down the sideline.
Right.
I mean, every single time.
It was Tecmo Bowl.
Fucking A, man. Madden, the game series, was always just second best. Always, always. And honestly, I could play 2K5 right now. I played a lot of 2K, like that football game. Like you could go into franchise mode, which was you would play calendar seasons. And like you would play the whole season, all 16 games, and the playoffs and the Super Bowl, and then you'd start the next year, right? And then you'd go do it again. I played like 38 seasons or some crazy thing. Because it was ridiculous. I was hurt for a while, and I was bedridden, and there was 2 games I played. I played a game called Morrowind, which was like elves and Lord of the Rings and shit. Mm-hmm. And I put a lot of hours into that. And I played football. I played those 2 things. And I was alone in my room just playing the crap out of that. And I came out of that experience, and one day I actually got to play against another human. And this is, again, before the internet times. Right. I never got to play against a human. It wasn't like that. You played against a computer. And I finally got to go to somebody's house and play them. And it was so much fun because they thought they were good, and I beat them. And I talked so much shit. And a friend of ours that we worked at the firm together with, mm-hmm. Who's also a big gamer, it was his buddy, and he watched us. He was just observing.
Hey, he's watching this podcast right now. If I know,
and he knows the event because it was a one-time event, and it was so good. And it was, I mean, shit. I remember, think about this, people. God dang. I'm remembering playing a video game of football against a fellow one time. I mean, it was like maybe 45 minutes worth before his wife was like, I won't say his name. But
right.
Then you could just hear her wonking, and then it's like, yeah. He's like, y'all gotta go. But it was so fun. I might have been loud. Maybe that's why his wife said that we gotta leave, because I was excited about beating him.
Yeah.
But he was pretty stoked too, because it was an exciting match. And it also takes me back to the time, I'm just gonna say, I'm on a rant, I don't care. Before the internet and before all the gaming, and I don't know how much internet gaming you're ever experienced with. It's okay. It's fun. It's good times. But before the internet, there was what's called a LAN party,
Mm-hmm.
a local area network.
Mm-hmm.
I have zero computing skills, but I know what that is. And what that was my buddy said, hey, bring your Xbox, bring Halo, and come to my buddy's house.
And we'll daisy chain them
And
together.
I was like, okay. I was like, what are we doing? He's like, we're chaining them all together. And at his buddy's house, and this is circa, I don't know, 2002, 2003, maybe. I don't know. Whenever the original Halo came out. I think that was actually even 99. I don't know. But I remember being in this house, bachelor pad. There were 4 TVs, the main room, there was one in the kitchen, and then 2 of the bedrooms. And there was just wires going everywhere. Like when you walked into the house, I mean, it was just wires. Like it looked like Grand Central. I mean, just it was crazy.
Yeah, wires everywhere.
It was crazy. And they're like, okay, cool, plug in here. And there were 12 dudes in this house. Four dudes per 3 or 4. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just the most insane time. So we were all hooked up to our own TVs. All those TVs were hooked up. So it was a local network of gaming. And we were all playing Halo against each other, all on the same server, essentially, in that guy's house. And that was the most damn fun. It beat any internet gaming by a mile because you hear people yelling like in the room next to you. So much fun.
All right, so this leads me to the next one, and I'll wrap this up here soon.
Yep.
Live in your world, play in ours.
Sounds awful video gamey.
PlayStation.
Yeah.
All right. Let me get to the top. Let me get into the top 5 here, because there's some on here that these companies just aren't around anymore. Impossible is nothing.
I'm gonna say some kind of tech shit, like Google,
Adidas,
or shoes.
Now, I don't know how this one is not number 1. Just do it. Don't know how that didn't come in number 1.
Yeah, no, for sure. That was obviously a pretty.
All right, here's one. Save money, live better.
Sounds like some insurance thing.
Walmart.
Or yeah, see, I'm not getting too many of these, I'm afraid.
Now, here's the thing. I've never, ever heard this one, and this one comes in at number 4. Power, beauty, and soul. I've never heard this one. Aston Martin.
It was a car, see?
Yeah.
All right.
There is no substitute.
Also a car, that is Porsche.
That is Porsche. All right, think small.
The IBM.
Volkswagen.
All sorts of car stuff.
Yeah, and the number 1 best slogan ever, according to this research, American by birth, rebel by choice.
I've never heard of it.
Harley Davidson.
And you know, and that might be one of your companies that is on the they're not around anymore list pretty soon.
Yeah.
Right. Oh shit! I mean, who's their demographic?
Their demographic is probably in their 70s right now.
Yeah, for real. And I mean, are they doing? I mean, they're not doing anything to try to appeal to younger people.
That's right.
Although allegedly they're coming out with electric motorcycle.
Which would be interesting.
And they're one of the first ones to do it. I almost bet they already have it, but they're trying to. I mean, I'm curious. I don't know why they wouldn't just latch onto it, but I would bet they're so afraid to deface their own brand.
Right.
You know, in the eyes of their own customers, like, how dare you make an electric motorbike?
Yeah. How dare you do this?
That's so much faster.
Maybe they don't want to kill off the last remaining people because they won't be able to handle the bike underneath them.
Well, I mean, it's similar. Like they made like a sport bike for a while, but they made it under a different brand name called Buell. But they were Harley Davidsons. But they looked like race bikes.
Gotcha.
Like ninjas or whatever you would think about. So just so afraid of, not their normal brand of big chopper hogs.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
So last one before we wrap this up, one that didn't show up, but this has always been one of my favorites. And I'll see if you can finish this sentence. Fill it to the rim.
With brim?
Yes. Remember that? Fill it to the rim with brim.
What was brim?
It was like instant coffee. It was like Folgers, but it was like you had the hot water and you.
I know, but so what? Was that really? Is that coffee?
I don't know.
Because you're putting hot water in it, and you're not straining anything, right?
Yeah, it was like
instant. Are you like drinking grounds?
That's pretty much.
There's no way. That's a lot of fiber. There's no way. I mean, I remember like my mom would have that. Like you just.
Yeah, it was instant coffee.
I know, but what the hell is instant coffee?
Let me see here.
It's like dehydrated.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. It's dehydrated coffee. Yeah.
But Starbucks will rebrand that bullshit like cold brew coffee crystals and charge you $9 for a cup.
Yep. Yeah, so that was a stirring episode there of Buy or Sell, and
the slogans, and you think about that. Think about how much of that was like a conference room of people sitting around trying to sell their slogans, or was that somebody like taking a shit and they're like reading the news and they're like, oh, I got that good one for work.
Oh, no. I was part of a think tank to come up with a slogan for my company, and it was like a 6-month process. Like, people like that's like somebody's job.
That's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. And anytime I feel like, what the hell am I doing? I think about stuff like that.
Right.
And I go, hey.
So somebody's getting paid several $100,000 to come up with a.
And I go, damn, that person gets paid a grip for that, and that's cool. What did I do wrong? I could have just been consulting on, hey, here's a catchy fucking slogan.
So like Reebok, I am what I am. That probably cost them $5 million to come up.
That's what I'm saying. And I mean, really?
Yeah.
And I get it. At this point, I'm armchair quarterbacking it.
Yeah.
I'm from the sidelines and just, damn, don't you think that you could sit on one of those boards or committees or.
Let me give you another one.
Marketing meetings.
Think big.
That's IBM, isn't it?
IMAX.
Right.
Think big.
And again, all these gazillions of bucks that they put into these slogans. I mean, oh my God, the impact. Well,
but think of it this way: you went like 5 in a row where you got them all, and they were like from like years and years ago. They've spent the last 30 years. Think about have it your way. How many times have you heard that in your adult life? They have hammered that into your head.
Can I counter that by saying how many times have I eaten at any of those places?
But you know what it is, though.
What good did that do them? Oh, and on this particular segment here, if that's what it was, this is the big payoff for all those years of advertising to me. Don't get me wrong. When I was a kid, sure, but I mean, I gave up eating that shit a long ass time ago. And no matter how many times I see a McDonald's commercial, I ain't gonna suddenly go.
What about this one? Eat fresh.
Is that what they came up with after Jared got caught?
Yeah.
With his.
Oh, that guy was a hot mess.
Well, dude, he was a hot ticket for a minute. I mean, he was like everywhere. Like, oh, it's Jared. Yeah. You're the.
He was at the Super Bowl. Remember that? Like flipping the coin or something.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, he was. I mean, was it that much fame to that poor guy just made him crazy? And was he already crazy? And
I think he was probably already crazy before he. Yeah.
And that just Subway gave him the opportunity.
Gave him a little bit of money, a little bit of fame, and yeah. Ooh.
Next thing you know, he's all R. Kelly. What? No, he was like all sorts of creepy shit, wasn't he?
He was like child porn and.
Because I was going to make like an R. Kelly kind of comparison, and I was like, oh, that's not fair to R. Kelly. But then I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, R. Kelly is R. Kelly is.
I don't know if he's got too many redeeming things going on there with some of his actions.
So next week, I want to talk about another freak show. I want to talk about the Mike Pillow guy.
Hey, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
It sure is.
No, but, well, I mean, come on. You're talking about a fucking crackhead. A crackhead is advising the president, the sitting president. Again, it just illustrates the differences of like the standards that say you or I are held to.
Right.
And the standards that others are held to.
Well, here's the thing. Let's say you had your own business. You wouldn't let a crackpot like that advise you of your business.
No, not crackpot.
Crackhead.
Thank you, crackhead.
And we've got a crackhead advising the president on the country, and this guy wouldn't get let into the local convenience store on their strategy.
No, I that's what I'm saying, and that's why I have such a hard time signing on to the idea of, oh, they're just a bunch of incompetent goofs.
Right.
But I just that's not just incompetence at that point. I mean, that's just, I mean, at best, that's like, I don't even know what you call that.
I don't know what you call it either. I don't know what you call it either.
And specifically, I mean, looking to that guy for any kind of advice, other than, again, he's a big fundamentalist, right? I mean, he's a big religious person, and not that part is the bad part, but it's the and not even being a reformed crackhead. You know, I mean, but generally that kind of gets you taken off the list of important jobs.
It sure does. You usually, being a crackhead usually kind of keeps you off of the list of the people who can get into the White House.
And see, here's the thing.
Right?
That's what I'm saying. And that's what, and I'm not trying to mock crackheads, because I'm really not. You know, I mean, people fucking get caught up and try shit and get hooked on it, and it destroys them. And if they redeem themselves in any way and lo and behold create a profitable business, that is terrific. Right. I applaud the holy shit out of that. Even if they're religiously excited more than I care for. Whatever, if they became a functioning member of society, mm-hmm. and paying their taxes, and they created a profitable business and a comfy fucking pillow, then goddamn, that's great.
Right.
But that doesn't mean come to the White House and advise the president on foreign policy and domestic policy. And you're such a careless fuck that you've got your notes displayed to everybody else. I mean, again, so again, I read a lot of bad spy novels. I watch a lot of bad TV and bad movies. I get it.
Right.
I get it. I'm as bad with international diplomacy ideas as people that watch too much CSI Miami suddenly think that they know what the fucking justice system means.
Right. Exactly.
Or that they're forensic fucking experts. Maybe they are. I don't know. But it just, I don't know.
I'm looking at this story about
how do you have a guy like that?
I don't understand. Here's the deal. I don't understand.
Like back in the Cold War times, like spies used to try to get any kind of like they would go. I mean, they would risk death to try to get access to information like that.
Yes.
And then here's Mr. Crackhead swinging his fucking memo around.
Right.
In today's modern like Zoom camera, amazing. But hey, you're also talking about the same president that had the fucking head of the Russian spy agencies in the Oval Office.
Yeah, I know.
Folks, here's some files, buds. We're all buddies. Let's be bros, skis. So what the fuck? I mean, nothing matters anymore.
I don't understand how a guy like that gets that kind of access.
I don't understand how a guy that fucking bankrupted casinos and couldn't sell steaks is president. So, I mean, the crackhead My Pillow guy was part of it is just, okay. That's the thing. Is it when it was such a constant barrage of bullshit, it's so impossible to keep track of.
Right.
And that's the whole idea. There's such a smokescreen that, I mean, honestly, the whole administration was similar to the insurrection.
Mm-hmm.
A big smokescreen.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oh, here's all the shit we're actually up to.
Right.
While you're busy looking at all these numbskulls waving their flags and wearing their horned hats and hanging from the fucking rafters, literally throwing shit.
Here's these 10 guys pulling off an operation.
That's what we're really here for.
Yeah, exactly. The rest of it,
and that was the entire administration.
Right.
Here's a smokescreen of Donald Trump selling steaks like a big jackass while everybody loots the place blind.
Mm-hmm.
And that happened for 4 fucking years.
Mm-hmm.
And then the culmination of that was a fucking insurrection.
Yep.
I mean, and it was the same playbook. A huge smokescreen for a small group to loot the whole fucking place.
Right. Yeah.
And that they failed. That they even had the opportunity.
Right.
That they could put all those pieces into place or remove all those pieces from the place to open the doors to allow that to happen. And they knew they only had like a couple hours at most before somebody's going to come storming to the rescue.
Right.
You know, I mean, they knew they only could pull off this weird shit for so long. And they even were saying that dipshit Donnie might have fucked up his whole insurrection plot by being a long-winded fucking prick like he always is at his big rally to go storm the Capitol. But he was such a long-winded fucking gas bag that the people couldn't, the actual operators couldn't get through the fucking crowd.
Right.
And you're like, oh, if that's even true. Oh, goddamn. So, I mean, I don't know. But that it even got that far, that they even had that opportunity to even try.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You know, and that it's already trying to be glossed over as, oh, it was just some bad eggs. You know, it was just some people getting a little out of hand.
Here's the thing that I told
like
you
we do
last week, maybe the week before, I can't remember. Merrick Garland is going to be the new Attorney General.
No, right.
And if you know anything about this guy, he's Law and Order, and the new head of the Justice Department, I think they're going to lay the smackdown. I really think they are.
Yeah, I hope so.
But they're going to do it in a way where it's going to be fair. They're going to go heavy on him, but they're not going to do it in a way that an appeals court later on down the road can overturn it. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you want it to stick, but at the same time, you know, now you're free and clear. You know, now it's all, you know, I mean, they're running the show now. So, yeah.
So here's the thing. I saw a bunch of videos on TikTok and other places where there was people putting up videos that were literally crying, begging Donald Trump on his last day in office to pardon them for what happened during the insurrection. Did you see these videos?
No, but it doesn't just warm your heart.
I mean, they were like, please, President Trump, we did everything you told us to do. Pardon us. And they had listed names of people to pardon. And they were like, we came to D.C. We did what you said. And Joe Biden was not supposed to be inaugurated. He was supposed to be arrested. What happened? You got to pardon these people. And if it wasn't, it was funny. I was going to say if it wasn't sad, it'd be funny. It was funny. I watched probably 15 different videos of people
just enjoying the shit out of it.
Oh my God. And I'm like, how did you get to this level of brainwashiness? How did you ever think? Well, I take that back. January 6th gave them hope, right? They gave them hope that something was going to happen on the 20th. Think about it this way.
I don't know, because nobody showed up on the 20th.
No. But think about it this way. If you were one of those conspiracy theorists that since November you've been hearing we're going to do X, Y, and Z, and then January 6th happened, you're like, this is actually true. We're going to take over the government. You're thinking something's really going to happen on the 20th, and then people looked around and goes, "Wow, there's 20,000 National Guard." I don't think we're going to do that.
No, I mean that's what I'm saying. Their window. Their opportunity was the 6th.
Oh yeah, the 6th. They messed up.
But I don't know. I mean, I just don't. That they're already trying to gloss it over is stunning. And like I said, I mean, we got goldfish memories, man. I mean, but man, if we forget this one, damn.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is what I will tell you. The indictments have not started rolling in yet. Wait till they start, because nobody's been indicted for that cop's murder. And I'm pretty sure there's footage that they have an idea of who was involved in that cop's murder.
I mean, you could easily say the entire crowd.
No. I get you. But from what I've read, they have video of somebody physically hitting that officer with the fire extinguisher.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. I thought that guy that did it was like a fireman, which is great because.
But wait till the indictments start to roll in, and wait to see some of the language on that, and then you're going to see people starting to cop pleas. And what I truly believe is you're going to see some of these lower level people who are looking at 10 years, they're going to start giving up names of people who they were texting on Facebook and they were hitting up on Messenger. You're going to start seeing names because remember, Donald Trump said he was going to use his victory fund or whatever that fund that he raised $250 million over Christmas to pay for all these legal bills. None of these people are getting their legal bills paid. Rudy Giuliani's not even getting paid. Trump took that money and he's running.
Of course he is. Yeah, well, like I said, all I can hope for is the continue. I mean, they've arrested quite a few people, but man, they should be arresting a lot more.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. I mean, I would like to think that the FBI has some type of strategy. I mean, these people made it so easy. They took pictures and put it on social media. And these are the same people that claim to hate social media. They sure the hell were on social media. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
No. And we could go all night. We probably need to wrap this up.
No, for sure.
And then let's hope for a week where a whole lot of stuff doesn't happen, so we don't have to cram everything in.
No, well, or I'm looking forward to, if there's more big action to come. Like I say, I mean, we mentioned briefly that the big COVID relief bill apparently got shot down, but I don't know. We'll see how drastic of measures can be taken.
Yeah.
Because again, I've been advocating that all along.
You have been
of more drastic measures. So
yep, you have.
Let's find out.
Yep. All right, everybody. Thank you again for watching the Jamal and Joe Show. If you've made it this far, you are a true hero, and we appreciate you. And if you're watching this and it's a clip, you're a true hero, and we appreciate you. Any last words, my friend?
What? Love, peace, and hair grease.
Love, peace, and hair grease. And remember.
Oh, like,
subscribe.
Right.
Like, subscribe, comment, share. And last thing I want to leave you with, there's only one way to stop a fire. Pause my mixtape.